Welcome to Kickstarter Radio 1 and 2.4. I'm your host, Lipstickpaddy, and today we're looking at the DC deck building game 10th anniversary. Now, this is not the first superhero card game battler. We had Sentinels of the Multiverse, was it a year ago? Which was a massive disappointment. The art was terrible because they got the artist of... They should have used the artist of Freedom 5. I keep banging this drum. But here, DC deck building game. This is fully licensed, and this is interesting because the art here is something I won't be criticising because it overall looks fantastic, actually. So 10th year anniversary, what's going on then? It says it's going to be celebrating the 10th year of this game. And there's a lot on this Kickstarter, actually. It's over 2,000 backers, blasted through its goal. DC, I prefer DC to Marvel, 100%. I don't really have a favourite character, but if you push me to a favourite character, I'd say the Flash is my favourite character. Now, in 2012, the original DC deck building game was released. This is a known retail property. There's reviews out there aplenty, and it is a big deck building game, absolutely. Because it says it had amazing art back then and addictive gameplay. You can watch lots of reviews on it. I mean, it's a well-established game. 12 expansions though. I mean, just look at all this content that's over these years. It is fairly massive how it's been extended. Some of it though you might not be interested in. I don't know. I mean, it depends how far your DC knowledge goes, you know. But at least when you had all this content, you could pick out what you wanted out of it. So yeah. These crossover packs are nice as well, but it says we're going to celebrate this legacy. Here we go, the Injustice, Gods Among Us. This is a good one because you are going to be fighting Superman, evil Superman here. They've even got the rival Flash, the anti-Flash, I can't even remember his name, Reverse Flash, there we go. Now we've finally seen some of the artwork on the cards and it really is nice. You don't even need to see the name and most of these are recognisable, which is good, and some of them you might not know than that. But it's like the lasso of truth. You've actually got Wonder Woman there with the lasso there. So yeah, it's interesting because the abilities are showing the hero doing the ability, and that's what kind of makes the art like really pop. It's absolutely fantastic. Right, so this Injustice then, this is the Kickstarter exclusive cover. This is the good stuff that people are coming for, is this. But again, you can see like the ability cards, Flying Kick, you get to see that. Somersault, you get to see that. It's very comic in its, and I love this because it's showing you an ability and it's showing that person doing it. This is what games should be doing, showing the artwork out which emotes what this card is doing. This game's kind of showing you the way. It really is super cool how they've done it. Now the how to play here, interesting table presence, is quite meaty up here. And so yeah, is there going to be a play mat? Because all these card games kind of, you think they'd bring out a play mat, you know, to put them all down. Now the art itself, if we look at these cards, the art can be hit and miss. It's doing art from the 10 years and stuff. Like the Heavy Punch here doesn't look to have as much detail as, for example, Injustice Shazam here. So it is kind of up and down, and that's partly because of its legacy over the years. The art doesn't kind of support it. Injustice Aquaman here doesn't look very nice for me, and if they were going to do anything, I think they should rebalance all the art really, so it brings it up to the best art is. But yeah, you know, there's so many cards. But you know, Mallet Bomb here, that looks very basic, and this is all my concern about these fighting games, because the art should be like front and center fantastic, and as soon as you see like these half-baked efforts, they just so in your face, don't they? These flashcards look alright, but if you look at here Jesse Quick, and if you compare the art here to the art you're getting on Freedom 5, the Freedom 5 got the best art cards for comics I've ever seen. Those cards just blow you away. Like, if I can show you just a quick example of some of the art here of Freedom 5, just outstanding. So I think, you know, these retail games coming to Kickstarter, they're not standing up to what we're seeing on Kickstarter, unfortunately. But I think this looks a lot better than Sentinels of the Multiverse. And really, when Sentinels of the Multiverse came on Kickstarter, it could have hired the artist that did Freedom 5, and it was just like it'll do sloppy, no ambitious thing coming. So, but you know, the art here is better coming out from the retail space. But the question is this just another let's just slap it on Kickstarter and it'll do? Just give it a bigger box and get a few Kickstarter exclusives. I mean, it's just a ton of content that you're getting. I think this is just a good way of pre-ordering it and make sure you've got the whole collection. Here's the big box. Interesting with the Sentinels of the Multiverse, they were selling the game with sleeves. The sleeves were like $80. And if you sleeved up the cards with the $80 you got from the Kickstarter, they didn't even fit into the retail, into the box. Just shows like the retail company that does that did Sentinels of the Multiverse, is just such naivety to that. And hopefully this big box they're pushing here, you know, takes sleeves. But it does say here, look, each row can hold approximately 540 sleeves, 5 dividers, and all this stuff. There is kind of, please note that the multiverse box editions are identical on the inside and come with separate components. The only difference is the exclusive Kickstarter cover. Now it does talk about relevant stretch goals, so that's might be where our Kickstarter bit of love is coming. But, you know, Crisis on Infinite Earths, that's definitely a dodgy photo. Dodgy art, I'd say. So yeah, I'm just like hit or miss. I mean, you don't know how many artists are involved on the project, and overall I think it's a hit or a miss. I mean, look here. 30th Century Metropolis looks like a comic book from the 1950s. Yeah, I'm just not happy with the basics of these cards. And you know, like, people might comment on the video and say, no, these cards are specifically for the showing the past of these comics. And it's like, look, if this game's aimed at the niche market of comics, those people that have been collecting all of the comics from first edition, you know, that's super niche. Super niche. This should be promoting towards the mainstream. People on Kickstarter that are looking for an amazing comic book battler, and we've still not seen one that is pushing ambitions out of the door, you know. So here it's pulling stuff from the past, and there's a little bit of continuity problems. And I think like all these videos, when they come from retail, you get that kind of retail where they have less expectations going in, and they just overall like it because, you know, they've not been tainted by the excellence of Kickstarter. And believe me, when you're doing Kickstarters, you do get tainted, you do get spoiled, you do become a snob, and when you start to see retail quality, you stands out like a sore thumb. Right, 135. You get the Flash, you get the Injustice box, and you get the Multiverse box. Now there is a playmat here for supervillains, so that looks kind of interesting. There's a 200 now. Let's jump it up a bit. Injustice playmat with this one. And you get another Multiverse box, so Superhero Edition and the Villain Pack. So it is very, very expensive. Is it? No, 345. It jumps up to an even bigger pledge. What's this giving you? All of the crossover packs if you want the full collection. And it's going to come with 6 rule books if you do that. Bloody hell. So there we go. It's like, how much of it do you want? So they're doing promo cards for the Kickstarter exclusive, and I mean, look at this Injustice one with the Catwoman on. It looks absolutely fantastic. That art, amazing. The one above it, Injustice Raven, looks poor next to it. Really does look poor. That's what I mean. There's just inconsistency of quality art. The Injustice Huntress here coming through the window, very basic. You know, it's like that Catwoman though, probably took a whole day for that art to do that. Injustice Huntress, that was like a 1 hour put together job, I'd say. So, I do have a architecture degree. I do have art. Know what art is. I watch Star Citizen live on Fridays of artists drawing stuff. I know how long these things take. And some of these are like 1 hour jobs and some of them are all day jobs. Like the amount of detail is wicked on Freedom 5 art, for example. But they labour of love, that one. Labour of love. So it is. They're bringing out these interesting cards for all these packs that you're getting, and that is fairly cool. Unfortunately, though, because it's they've got to fit into all these things, you've got this inconsistency of art, or maybe it is consistent with that expansion. And there's a little bit of a la carte going also. Right. Now, so if you want the big box, which is the just give me everything, $50 to the USA for the giant box. That's not bad actually, is it? I usually expect double USA 1 in this case, so that'd be $100 shipping to Mexico if they had it on the list. It's super expensive. And there's just so much content here, it's like you wouldn't even know where to start. You know, it's like if you've bought this massive box, this is your first soiree into this IP here and this game. It would have been nice for a beginner's start, wouldn't it? Like this stuff is what we recommend you play first, especially to learn the game. Or go and do this because you just got this box of craziness, and you open that box. That one, where do I start? Like, oh, you're gonna be lost at sea. So, 28 days. Hopefully they've got this kind of beginner's guide to kind of understand it if you go for the all-in. I think that's needed because it's just insanity when you open that box of everything. I think on the whole, though, the art is overall better than the art that was in Sentinels of the Multiverse. They do say sleeve box. The box will hold all these sleeve cards, which is good because Sentinels of the Multiverse, epic fail on that one. So there we are. I think the only challenge that could come forward from this if Simon brought out a Marvel deck building game. But that deck building game is covered by Fantasy Flight, isn't it? So, and overall, they're doing an incredible job with their art. So it's kind of like, are we ever going to get the perfect bloody art on these deck building games? Because, this is a 10-year-old game, still doing 10-year-old mechanics, and there's no evolution of the gameplay here. And I guess that's what I'm looking for, and I'm not seeing it here. Yes, it's better than, I think, the Sentinels, the Multiverse. I think this is a better, stronger theme, obviously. And the art is a little hit or miss. There's definitely inconsistency with the art. Some of it looks amazing, some of it looks poor, and all that stuff. Well, you've got a lot of fans on here, and yeah, it all depends how they treat the beginner coming in, the noob that comes in here and gets it all. I mean, it's a good time to come and get it all, isn't it? You get a full box, all the content over the last 10 years. It's a one-stop shop. It is very good for that, but where the heck do you start? So yeah, that needs addressing. It's impossible for them to redo over the art. You're talking about 10 years worth of content. That would be an epic job to do it. And this is the problem with IPs anyway, isn't it? If you go back and do all that IP, you've got to ask for permission to redo stuff, maybe, if they're using historical art and stuff. Oh, it's just a bit of a mess. I think my only hope is that Freedom 5 do a card deck building game and bring the art across from Freedom 5. That's my hope. So for me, do we recommend this? No, I think we're still in the wait. We're still waiting for the perfect deck building comic book game. And if I've got any hope out there, it is that. But we don't even know if that's going to ever happen. So at the minute, it's kind of still a hole on my shelf waiting to be filled. But offering 10 years of content from a retail game, showing me inconsistent art, is not gonna float my boat. I'm a very, very picky snob at this stage, and I know what I want, and this isn't quite there. But if you're a DC fan and you're willing to overlook my snobbiness, it might be for you. And I think it is a great place to get it all, isn't it? But you let me know in the comments, what do you think of this Kickstarter? Were you kind of flummoxed by the art? You're confused by all of the content? Because I think as a noob coming in, it's like blow your bloody head the amount of content you're getting in this. Where do I start? And so yeah, there we go. DC deck building game, 10th year anniversary. Get it all in the box. You know, not too shabby, but basically just a collection of retail content over 10 years. That's what it is. It's kind of quirky, interesting. There's stretch goals just to give you some new cards in the boxes. I guess that's something to look forward to, and all that good stuff. But yeah, not for me, obviously. Please like the video, leave comments down below. What do you think of this? And are you interested in picking this up? Or are you in the same boat as I am, waiting for a more consistent, better next generation 2D art on comic deck building game? Well, thank you so much for listening. I've been your host, Lipstickpaddy. You take care. This has been Kickstarter Radio 102.4. You take care, stay safe, and bye-bye for now. And do look out for us on the weekend with our broadcast radio show, where we play lots of music, especially coming from the American Song Contest, and of course rounding up all our videos that we did this week, whilst also talking about media, which we'll be talking about Moon Knight 3rd edition, we'll be talking Halo episode 4, and of course more on the American Song Contest. So hopefully you can join me for that this Sunday. So yeah, you take care, and bye bye for me.